Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that has been at the forefront of my mind since I've been kind of chipping away at it in my own life. Let's face it, it's no secret that fear of rejection is born out of a primal drive for survival, and therefore it's incredibly natural. Matter of fact, I would argue that it's the most universal fear in the world. It's why peer pressure, societal norms, social media are such potent, influential forces and often incredibly toxic. But I'd like to make the case that rejection from other people isn't necessarily what you should fear. And I'm going to illustrate this with a quick story. So when I was younger, I had a crush on a girl in high school. And I sat with her a few times and tried to spark conversations, but I can remember I was so shaky and nervous just being around her. And to the surprise of no one, I got rejected. This uncomfortable feeling followed me through my teens, my college years, and well into my 20s. I didn't approach people, forget women, just people in general, men, women, really anybody, because of that fear of feeling that way again, of being rejected. That is until I understood that there is something far worse that I've been doing for years that I didn't even notice, worse than being rejected by other people, and that was being rejected by myself. Let's face it, men and women are rejected by people all the time for all sorts of different reasons. Relationships, job opportunities, deals, networking, etc., whatever the case may be. Rejection is a part of life. And it is what it is. However, none of those people, no matter how many times you've been rejected or by who, none of those people follow you home. You know, you don't have to look in the mirror and see them rejecting you. You don't have to wake up and hear them reject you again and again. You don't have to occupy the same space as them or breathe the same air as them afterwards because they rejected you. Okay, they don't see you as worth their time, whatever it is that it might be, whatever the reason. Now, I'm realizing this at 25, and I look back on that experience with my crush, and I actually, when I was remembering it, I actually had to take a moment to try and remember what her name was. Meanwhile, my self-rejection has been following me damn near my entire life. To put it simply, rejecting yourself is way worse than being rejected by anybody else. Because of that same reason, I have to go home with myself. I have to look myself in the mirror, and I have to take control over my own life. If you're rejected by another person, once it's over, it's over. It's like a shot. Or a fist in the face. You know, my own father could reject me. And it would suck, and I would definitely feel fucked up about it. But at the end of the day, I have to be okay with myself. I have to wake up and I have to look in the mirror, and I have to be okay with taking control of my own life. I have to accept myself. I have to embrace who I am as I am now so that I can move forward and grow. Being rejected by other people pales in comparison to the existential weight of self-rejection because it follows you throughout your whole life. And when you realize that, hey, can't do anything to me Castro ain't already done. You know, I've been rejecting myself my whole life. I'm going to start caring. I'm going to start giving a shit about what you think. Stop it. I've been rejecting myself for years. And I've been rejected by other people a lot. And trust me, one is way more preferable than the other. When you fear rejection, you are giving other people the power to dictate how you feel about yourself. Imagine you get rejected by somebody and later you realize you don't even like that person, or they're a fucking asshole, or they're a narcissist, or they're crazy, you know? You go from, oh, they rejected me, to whew, dodge that bullet, you know, because the fear of rejection is, oh, will they like me? Oh, I want them to like me. Well, you need to figure out if you like them. You don't know if you like them. You know just as much about them as they do about you when you first meet them, you know, but all of a sudden you're putting them on the pedestal of the decider of whether or not you are worth their time. Well, maybe they don't really know what their time is worth. Maybe they don't maybe they don't have any idea, the slightest idea about you or whether or not you actually are worth their time. Or they don't know what their time is worth. If you are chronically self-rejecting, all you're doing is sending the vibe out to others that you wouldn't want anything to do with you either. And that's so much worse than being rejected by anybody. The most beautiful woman on the planet could reject the shit out of me. And yeah, it might suck, but you know what? I shot my shot. You know? I went after what I thought I deserved. And that's what I'm saying. The worst version of this is when you pin this habit on everyone else. Well, they just give me a chance. Well, you don't even give yourself a chance. You expect them to? How the fuck do you expect anybody else to? Stop it. Quit your whining. If you self-reject out of fear of rejection, you're subjecting yourself to the lowest form of rejection conceivable. And that's just tasteless. But Marco, how do I stop rejecting myself? Well, you stop denying yourself access to opportunities. Think of rejection as it's a subgenre of self-sabotage at the end of the day. That's what it is. If you don't show up, you can't fail, right? Well, be okay with failing. Don't starve yourself of opportunities. You know, don't starve yourself of opportunities to fail. Go ahead and fail. The most successful people on the planet are the biggest failures of all time. They just didn't let it stop them. I issue to you a challenge. The next time an opportunity comes along, whether it's a relationship, a job opportunity, a contact, a connection, you know, whatever it is, hell, a one-night stand, go for it. And forget about the outcome. Forgo expectations. And that's incredibly hard because we want to plan ahead for our own survival. But forgo your expectations. Whether you succeed or fail is irrelevant. You didn't starve yourself of an opportunity. You went after what you wanted and what you felt you deserved. And what you believed you deserve. You didn't reject yourself. Instead, you let somebody else do it, which is way better, you know? And for a chronic self-rejector, that's a huge step. It's a win. Be happy. You let somebody else... You were rejected by somebody else other than yourself. Congratulations. The other thing I'd say is be genuine in who you are. Hey, if you're going to be rejected, you might as well just be rejected for the actual you instead of this facade that you're putting on out of fear of being rejected. You know, just show up and be your genuine self. Be the best. Show up as the best version of yourself. You know, show up for yourself. It's all about when undoing all of this. It all comes down to you being okay with who you are and not feeling like you're unworthy of other people. That's what it's about. It's not about, oh, I need them to like me. You don't know if you like them. You don't know if they're worth your time. And that's another thing you need to consider. What is your time worth? What are you doing in your life that you are doing or that you could do that makes your time more important so that you're more selective with who exactly you're giving your time and energy to? And I'm just throwing that in there as a little side note, but it's true. You know, you do need, you know, people are inherently attracted to people who have other shit going on. When I started living my own life and I started growing and becoming the person that I am now, and I'm still currently in becoming the version of myself that is where I want to be and further and beyond, the more I looked around, the more I realized, wow, there are just some people that I've had in my life that I just have, they stayed where they are, and I kept moving, you know? And when you're a 20-year-old man, that's an important thing that you need to spot in the people who you have in your life. Are they moving forward in their own lives, or are they just stagnating? And they just haven't, and they're 26 and they haven't changed since they were 17 years old. You need to find these things out. You know, you're going to reject people in your life too. And if you're going to reject people in your life, and you need to, and you know that you need them to be okay with it, well, then you need to be okay with being rejected by other people too. It's a two-way street. You can't dish it out but can't take it. That's not an option. You need to be able to dish it out and take it at the same time, because otherwise you're just, I don't know what you are, an asshole, I suppose. You know, people often fall into the trap that if we aren't making these gigantic leaps and bounds, i.e. obtaining an intimate relationship as soon as we begin putting ourselves out there, we think we're failing. But I want to offer this perspective that people, when they start doing new things, they start on a different plane, a different base than anybody else. An extrovert starts on a different plane. An extrovert who's been a social butterfly their whole lives starts at a different base than somebody who's been introverted. Like me, myself, I'm introverted. My brother has always been more extroverted. So I notice that he and I are at different points in this kind of thing. And that's fine. It really is. Because, you know, like to an extrovert, something basic or minute as not denying yourself an opportunity to speak to someone under this internalized presupposition that they want nothing to do with you, and instead rejecting that and just going for it anyway, you know, not denying yourself the opportunity. That might seem small to somebody who's been a social butterfly their whole life, but that's a big move to somebody who's a chronic self-rejecter, or somebody who doesn't feel worthy. You know what I mean? If you stop rejecting yourself and you let other people reject you, there will be situations compounding where you aren't rejected. You're accepted, and you're welcomed, and you're appreciated. But that will only occur if you allow it to. As for all the times it doesn't, you can't take it personally, because you don't know any more about them than they do about you. So you can't be mad at it. I appreciate you all listening to my ramblings. If you like this video, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll be putting out more videos like this because I've realized that, you know what, I run my mouth about all kinds of shit all day long rather than actually getting things done. So why not just why don't I just, instead of just doing it to nobody, why don't I just do it in front of a camera instead? And so that's what this is. So I appreciate you all listening, and I'll see you in the next video.